Robots. Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, in a Scooby panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com, and today we'll be talking about the Handmade by Robots figures with the people that created them. So before we begin, I'll have everybody introduce themselves, and Justin, we'll start with you.
All right, I'm Justin Hillgrove. I guess I'm the artist. I helped design the figures, and I live in Snohomish, Washington, on kind of a little bit of a mini farm, I guess. And I spend most of my time painting and drawing and working on the figures. So,
Mary?
My name is Mary Olson. I am the, original creator of Handmade by Robots. And I'm a knitting fanatic, so that's kind of where it all came from. I knit my brains out all the time. So I've been able to work with Justin. I've known Justin for many, many years. And he actually, I live in Snohomish, Washington as well. So it makes it very easy. And I'm so glad to be on here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you guys. Wendy?
Hey everybody, I'm Wendy Bridge. I'm a commissioned artist and a 30+ year Scooby-Doo collector.
And Cameron?
Hey guys, I'm Cameron from Scooby-Doo Cameron Too, and I'm just really excited to be here.
Yeah, so we're super excited to be talking about the figures. I do have the Shaggy one.
Oh, good.
I have them here. I don't have Scooby yet because I ordered them from GameStop, and I'm still waiting on Scooby, but he is supposedly being delivered soon, so we'll see.
So GameStop has been a great supporter of our brand, but yeah, they're having a little bit of warehouse supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Is where I jump the line and I get all the products first, so I'm able to put them up on our fan site just to get people product out earlier. So
yeah, we'll have to order them that way next time.
Okay.
So the first question was about the knit look for the figures, and you said that you've been knitting for a long time. Do you know approximately like how long you've been?
Well, my mom, when I was a kid, she knit and she sewed, and she was an amazing, seamstress and knitter and all that. And I learned to knit when I was a kid. And then of course it's not cool. So back then, so I gave it up. But then probably like 25 years ago, I was watching the Super Bowl, and it was two teams I didn't really care about. So I was like, and I don't know why, it just came in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna learn to knit today. So I buzzed down to the craft store and I bought this learn to knit kit. And I still have that hat. It's the ugliest thing anyone's ever made, but I made it during the Super Bowl and I was super excited, and I just got hooked. So there's a great community of knitters on what's called Ravelry, Ravelry. It's like the Facebook for knitters. So there's millions of patterns on there. You can share all your projects. So that's, besides pop culture, that's kind of my thing. I spend a lot of money on yarn, it's where you guys spend money on collectibles. I'm a yarn freak. So yeah, that's kind of where the genesis of it came from. But I've also owned a consumer products company for 10 years. So kind of the two collided. We were looking for some sort of form factor that would be collectible and repeatable and super cute and fun. And since it just kind of happened that way, it was really fun, really, really interesting how it happened.
Yeah, they are really cute figures. The knit look is so unique. Like, it's not something that I've seen before as a figure. So it's really cool.
Well,
it's
thank
a
you.
nice
And then
design.
Just and I have dragged to knitting stores. Of course, we're in the same city. So he's been dragged to knitting stores. I've knitted him hats. I've knit, if something something texturally it isn't making sense, I'll go ahead and knit a sample. So Justin swears to me he's going to learn to knit soon.
yeah, I've never knit before. Yeah, she took me to the store. She's like, "This is yarn. Yeah, this is yeah."
That's great. Can you walk us through the process from start to finish in making a figure, and about how long does the process take?
Yeah, so we can walk you through visually on like a specific figure, and I can tell you about it as we go. So is it that, Justin, something you can share, maybe like a start to finish? Yeah.
Yeah, well, why don't you start with the like procedural, like how do you even get started? And then when you get to the design part, you can throw it to me.
So, it's a variety of factors that determine what characters we make. If I could just make the characters I like all day long, that'd be fantastic, but that's probably not fiscally responsible to the company I work for. So I try to balance it between, things that I think are super cool and things that I know that, maybe some of the bigger retailers want, et cetera. Fortunately, Scooby has been hitting that sweet spot of something I'm really excited about, Justin loves to draw, and the retailers are really responding to. So I have a big long runway with Scooby-Doo, and we're going to do a ton more villains and stuff. So what we do is we come up with, like, an Instagram follower a couple of weeks ago suggested the 10,000 volt ghost as a villain, right? Because I can do, translucent and glow in the dark and stuff like that. So I checked it out, and then I, kind of thought it through. I talked to some of my sales folks, said, what do you think about this? They're like, yeah, we love it. And then I flip it over to Justin, and hey, Justin, can you draw this figure and let's get going on it. And then once he draws it, I submit it to the licensor. They make minor changes, and then we go to what's a 3D render from the factory, and then we go to painted sample. And then during that time frame, the box art is being done, et cetera. And then once the licensor approves that painted sample, we go to tooling, and then we're off and running. But seeing it is better. So Justin, I will let you show them.
Yeah. Well, and from start to finish though, how long's that process,
Oh
Mary?
my God. It depends on the licensor, because some licensors like MGM are super quick. Like the guy there, Denny, is amazing. Like one day later, he's like, it's great, approved, or change this color. As where, the Harry Potter folks, 5 months later, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get to you in another month or so. So some figures have taken over a year. Some figures have taken, 6 months. With all the shipping delays and freight issues, I used to be able to turn a figure around in 4 to 5 months. Probably now is 7 months is speedy.
Yeah, so I'll share my screen for a second here. Let's see what we got here. Finder. All right, can everyone see my screen or my
Yes.
window at least? Yeah,
So This
so when
figure, by
I
the way, is a GameStop exclusive that's coming up, but it is approved by Warner Brothers, so I can show you. Anyway, go ahead, Justin.
it's
Go to
basically one of my favorite villains. So I always start with a sketch. I do like a front side back view. It's we call these turnarounds. And I always start with just kind of a rough, and I always try to give them a little bit of a floppy, dumpy look.
Perfect.
Oh, it looks so good.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, so that's what the rough looks like. It's all done in, I mostly work in Procreate. And then I will take that and I'll kind of fade it in the back, and I'll do some just nice clean lines, though clean is relative. I like to make it still look like it's hand drawn.
And you can see here he's adding those additional elements besides the knit that would actually happen on a knit figure, like I would put button eyes on, or I would embroider its mouth, or all those kind of details.
And then we're just applying the knit texture to it, which actually takes a little bit of time, just figuring out the flows and everything.
So one of the things that recently we've done too is when you knit at the end of like a mitten or the end of a hat or the top of a hat, you decrease the amount of stitches to get to the top. And our figures weren't looking really authentic that way in some of them, and it drove me crazy. So now Justin he's worked with the factory and the 3D artist to make sure they're getting that authentic knit look at the top. And you can kind of see at the bottom of the arm there, it's a real representation of how you decrease the stitches to get to more of a point.
Right. And this one I did a little while ago. So I've changed it even since now so that it's more authentic. And then, yeah, I just throw some color on there and a little bit of shading just to kind of give let the sculptor see, what it is I'm thinking exactly. And then also we'll end up using this art for the box too. So.
Oh, he's really cool.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Cool.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite figures. He's pretty simple, but it's just such a cool design. I really like him. All right. But yeah, I usually when I go to design a figure, I'll spend some time getting to know the character. It's really easy with Scooby because I've been a huge Scooby-Doo fan for as long as I can remember. So it's more like, oh, I get to do that. Whereas there's other lines that we work on where I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is. Oh, I guess I'll sit down. We laugh about this because like horror movies, they always terrified me. And so Mary's put me through the ringer. It's like, who was that one guy from the cannibal movie? that I had to do.
Oh, who was that?
The guy who like dances around and he's Agent Stottlemyre. No?
I don't
Okay.
remember that one. What did
Yeah.
I make you watch?
Anyway, the bad guy from
Yeah.
Hannibal the Cannibal.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Okay.
tried to actually sit and watch this movie so I could
Oh, he had to
figure
watch
out
Silence of the Lambs.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And I was just like,
Buffalo
oh my
Bill?
gosh, this is horrifying.
He
What-
only watched it in like 10-minute segments, and then he would text me, Mary, you're killing me.
Yeah, yeah. But with Scooby-Doo, it's easy because, you know, I already love the characters. I already know the characters very well. I still spend a little bit of time trying to see, you know, the characters from different views, trying to get like what their color patterns are. And I like to default to the classic Scooby-Doo rather than the later versions, because they've all evolved pretty significantly over time.
I think we are all fans of the classics and not, I don't want to say not fans of the current series, but we all prefer like the earlier series of Scooby-Doo.
I love the original, though. Scooby-Doo, what is it? Mystery Incorporated, I think is actually my favorite, just because of the story arcs I thought were so good. But that's just me, though. So, yeah.
The box art is incredible. Like, you guys really put so much detail into the boxes alone. Like when I got Shaggy, I must have looked at the box for 15 minutes before I even looked in the window at the figure, because the box was just so cool. Can you tell us how you became inspired to do such great art on the boxes?
So we set a template where, because it was really important for us to have our Handmade by Robots brand featured as well as the brand of the character we're doing. So we have kind of a set template of like where our brand will be, where our series number will be, where the call outs of the name and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, we have access, the Warner Brother vault, you know, the art vault is amazing. And since we're a licensee, we have access to that. So we try to find things that are really interesting. So always on the front, you'll see, you know, the, some sort of character art, and you know there's so many to choose from, but we try to pick something that's really fun and fits really good in that corner. And then of course we use here on the back and on the side and on the top, we use backgrounds from Warner Brothers that are approved. So, but you know, again, there's hundreds of them. We could spend all day in there looking around, and we have. And then we use Justin's final drawing on the top and on the back. And then we have a little conveyor belt, because, you know, the robots are making them on a conveyor belt. And we kind of design the colors around the rest of the box. So every box looks different yet uniform, and they look great on shelf together. But yeah, so that one of my favorite ones is the Scooby-Doo boxes because of the Scooby-Doo logo and stuff. It just looks great. Yeah. We have an internal design team that a gal named Zara, and she's done all the box artwork. So she's, you know, she loves digging around in the archives too. And then we just get the license order, approve it, you know, along the way.
She does a great job. Yeah.
She does. Yeah.
What is the process you have to go through to get the approval of Warner Brothers for the figures? And is there a separate process to approve the figures as opposed to the boxes, or are they approved at the same time?
It's all separate. It's all under one submittal, like, okay, here is, you know, Space Kook. And so then, you know, then we go through all the process of submitting the figure drawing first, and then the 3D. So that's kind of on one thread. And then the box art comes along later in a separate, under that called packaging. If I want to do any marketing, that's a separate thread, marketing, you know, so they approve everything. It is interesting because Warner Brothers, you know, I actually just talked to my Warner Brothers rep yesterday, and she is so excited about all the Scooby stuff we're doing. I showed her some of the stuff that was coming up, and she says that not a lot of people are putting out a lot of Scooby figures right now. And so she's super excited that we're picking up and running with it. Because I'm telling you, we have another 10 or 12 in the hopper with villains and Velma and all sorts of fun stuff. So we also are doing, you know, we have the full-size figures that you've seen, and then we have the 4-pack of the mini eggs, which are 2.5 inches tall. But we're doing a lot of, I'm probably jumping out of order here, but that's okay. That's how I roll. So we're doing these little micros, they're little tiny 1.75 inch figures.
Oh, I love them.
And I have a Scooby-Doo one to show you that no one's seen yet. It's
Oh,
in
I
my
haven't seen it either yet.
It's in my secret box.
Oh.
My secret box. Every
Yeah.
time I pick this up and rattle it, my dog thinks it's treats. So I have to be very careful in case I don't. But just for FY, so this is Batman out of the box. So he's just super cute and tiny.
Oh, he's
So with
cute.
all the same details. He actually has embroidered whip stitch eyes. And they're simplified, of course, because they're so tiny, but they do come in that little collector box. Okay. Now, his skin color isn't correct, but I think you'll all recognize our little buddy Fred.
Oh,
Oh my God.
that's great.
Mary,
love
he's
him.
he's a little blown out. Can you pull him back just a
Yeah.
little bit? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah.
looks so good.
Of course, I know Justin's looking at it with his critical eye. Well, colors now,
I haven't
right?
seen him. I haven't seen
Blah,
him
blah,
yet.
blah, blah, blah.
I did the drawings, but I don't see these until a lot of times until everyone else does. So it's
So
exciting.
this is from Willy Wonka, of course. Here's a little Oompa Loompa.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it.
And one of my favorite things we're doing is, the Mystery Machine full size. We are doing a little tiny Mystery Machine micro. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
but
when
that's-
you talked to somebody, you had posted that on one of their comments that you were doing Velma and the Mystery Machine, and I was so excited for the Mystery Machine. Yeah.
Do you want me to show you the Mystery Machine and Velma?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. I will. Cam may have seen some of these because I sent him a lot of secret stuff.
I remember.
Nice.
I remember you sent me Velma in the Mystery Machine. I remember I posted them. So yeah, that was
Okay, so let's see.
Good.
Let's see. I'm not sure which the best. I'm going to show you this. This is something that we just do for the licensor. It's all the views and the PMS colors and all that, but this will give you a good look at it. And we just recently made the headlights and taillights glow in the dark. So it's pretty fun.
so cool.
Let you take a look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It's so perfect.
It
Yeah.
is.
And that is all thanks to Justin, his design, and he's embroidered on the wheels and the embroidery thread and the logo and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
love
see,
how-
I
I love
see
how
it.
the
It
front
looks
is
like
like a button.
Yeah, it's a button. It's the tire is a button. Yep.
Oh, I love it.
it looks like a delicious cake to me when I look at it.
And this one looks so good. I was a little worried doing an inanimate object, but I've knit a lot of inanimate objects, hamburgers and all sorts of little cute little things. Because of how cute this is, we're doing the Zamboni machine because our company has a thing going with them for some of the NHL teams, and then we're doing the ice cream truck from Killer Clowns, and we're doing. I also have the license for a couple other vehicles, that are popular in pop culture. So we'll see some more of these, but this is going to kick off a whole series of fun little vehicles, I think.
It's fun because these ones like these, they have so much character, even though they're an inanimate object. The Mystery Machine is almost like the
Let's see.
the sixth member of the gang.
Yes.
So,
Let me see.
Right.
Let me find you, Velma. Let's see. Here she is in all her glory. She's adorable.
Oh, she is adorable.
Looks so good.
Wonderful.
give her square button eyes. So,
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, we
Perfect.
we go off, and do some special things, but the main thing is I look at that, I know I could knit that. It wouldn't look exactly the same, but I know exactly how I would make the blue lenses. I would do it with fabric and I would sew it into the figure. So just to make sure that, we're not making anything that somebody couldn't knit. Now this would take me like 3 weeks to knit, but that's a whole nother story. So
Justin, was it a tough process for you to design these not knowing how to knit?
Well, yes, actually, it's the hardest part of designing, because I'm used to, with my own art, I do a lot of pop culture reference and stuff like that in it. So I'm used to taking things, especially scary things, and making them approachable and cute. And that's essentially what this is. But then trying to figure out how the heck someone would actually knit these things, not knowing the process, is incredibly confusing. And like Mary mentioned, there's been times where I'm just like, hey, Mary, how would you knit this? I have no idea how one would even approach knitting this.
I can show you guys an example of that. And I don't think that I did this for Justin per se, but this is when the factory was getting confused over Dumbledore's hat, right? So I knit a little baby Dumbledore hat and it sits on Justin's favorite character, Hannibal Lecter. But so this is the little hat that I knit for Dumbledore so the factory could see how it actually works and how it looks at the top. So I'm forever knitting little things to help everybody out. But I think, like I said, I'm gonna teach Justin to knit, whether he wants to or not. But there's a Dumbledore and Hannibal mashup for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is funny though how what makes it the most unique character line is also the most challenging part for the designer. So yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I say that we've made a lot of changes from our early figures. We started out with, you know, at this company, we started out with Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter, and Ghostface. So we've definitely changed stitch patterns and things. Those figures still look great, but though when Jess and I look at them, we go, oh yeah, now we've changed this and we changed that and we changed this. So
yeah, everything's evolved quite a bit just to be a lot more natural. Like, oh, this is how you would actually do it, instead of just before we just made it work. Yeah.
About how long does it take to get the approval of Warner Brothers?
Ooh, I hope they're not watching. It's hard. I mean, sometimes it's pretty quick. It depends on the internal franchise too. Like I said, Harry Potter forever. Scooby-Doo usually pretty quick. You know, they're like, and they're so excited to see us, whoever internally is managing that franchise and whoever we send it in and the approver, Frank, our buddy Frank, will send it off to the appropriate manager of that property. And Scooby-Doo has been pretty quick, within a week or two at the most. And they haven't made many changes, but we always look to them to enhance, you know, what we're doing because they know the characters way better than we do. So for example, our first Scooby drawing did not have a tongue. And they added the tongue, and I wasn't sure what that would look like, but I love it so much. So, you know, you got to believe, you know, they know the property better than we do. They live it and breathe it every day. They have, you know, access to archives of artwork that we've never seen, even as licensees. So just having them do those little tweaks really help the characters.
So I have one final question before I pass it on to Cameron. Somebody else, Jordan, he runs the Art of Scooby-Doo. He was going to be on the panel with us, but he had to work, so he couldn't. But he wanted to know, the box says knit series on it. Do you plan on doing different series later that aren't knit?
We have, yes. So in the future, not anytime soon, we'll always have the knit series because one, it's near and dear to my heart, right? But there's so many other craft form factors that could be really cool in this, you know, that you know, not that we would, but, you know, wood carving or paper mache or macaroni noodles or, you know, whatever we come up with. And then we do have some licenses that kind of want to venture out and do some other form factors. For example, we've talked to Hasbro. We don't have anything in place, but they do Play-Doh, right? So they would like, we'd love to make it look like it's made out of Play-Doh. So, you know, there's all those other mashups that we can do, but we're going to stick with the knit series for quite a while and then venture out at some point.
It's really cool. Cameron, you have some questions?
I do, and I'm excited. Well, Mary, Justin, I just want to say it's an honor to talk to y'all today. I know I've been talking to y'all a little bit. I also talked to Michael a little bit too.
Yes.
I know he's not here, but I've been talking to him. Awesome. I just got to tell y'all, I have literally in my collection room, I have cleared out this huge, gigantic shelf. My mom came over one day and she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, Handmade by Robots is going all over here. And it's not small because I'm like, I know it's going to get bigger and bigger. But no, when I very first saw the images of Shaggy and Scooby, let me just tell y'all, it automatically brought me to season 1, episode 13 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Which is which? Where I'm always been like obsessed with it. It's in the episode they have these little voodoo dolls.
Okay.
And so it's like Fred, Daphne, Shaggy, and Velma. Well, I just thought those were always so cool. So when I saw y'all's figures, I just automatically thought of the episode because I'm like, I've always wanted some kind of voodoo, like dolls looking like that. And so I'm telling you right now, having these in my collection, if whoever's watching, I mean, think I just dropped something. My bad. But whoever is watching, though, I mean, how can you not love these? And the packaging, I mean, they're phenomenal. But yeah, I just want to tell y'all, it is seriously, I love y'all's company. I love everything that y'all stand for. And I mean, just for y'all to keep venturing with it. I mean, I will say, I think I can speak for me, Nikki and Wendy. We've talked to a lot of companies. We talked to a lot of people that have had, that do have their hands dipped in the franchise, and they'll do a couple things here and there. But I mean, for y'all to go full-fledged into the series, I mean, I don't know. I mean, don't y'all agree with me that that's pretty awesome?
It's fun. This was one of my favorite franchises. I was talking with Nikki beforehand, saying how my wife and I, we've loved Scooby-Doo forever. And so to work on the villains and to keep being able to work on them, that's like a dream. I have so much fun. Whenever I get a new one, I'm like, yay.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I just picked up this book, which I have obsessed with, the Scooby-Doo Encyclopedia.
Yes.
And there's so many in here I forgot about too, So I'm having fun flipping through here. I actually ordered one for Justin so he could flip through and decide what he likes and wants to draw. But that's something I would love to get from you guys. It's kind of your top 10 or top 20 maybe villains list. Just email them to me and I can kind of put them in the hopper.
Actually, there are a couple of characters we would love to see that aren't villains.
Okay, do it.
Oh yeah.
Scooby-D,
Yes.
Scooby-Dum,
Yes.
and Scrappy.
Take it home, sister.
Now Scrappy is for Wendy and Cameron. I would buy it, but it's for Wendy and Cameron. Like, it would always stay in the box somewhere behind the rest of the figures.
Okay, well, make sure you don't see that. There is one character in here that caught my eye, and Justin and I were talking about it this morning. Let me find it. It's that tiny little one, Justin, we thought would make a great micro. What was it?
Oh, the leprechaun dude?
Yes. Oh my God, this little guy. Pat O'Wiley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'm having fun with this, so. But no, Cam,
Well,
thank you. And Cam, how did you find us? I mean, you were one of the first Scooby people to find us. How did you find us?
Well, I keep up with all Scooby news, and
Yeah.
so when the news first broke out that you guys were doing, starting with Scooby and Shaggy, I saw them online, and I was just, I mean, they're incredible, and I go to GameStop a lot, when I have free time, I'm always searching for Scooby collectibles because, like I said, I'm always buying Scooby stuff left and right. I have a problem. I have an addiction. Let's just say
it's not a bad problem.
It's not a bad problem. There's 10 million other problems in the world, but I'd rather have this one. But I saw y'all's company, and it just, I've seen people do Scooby products, and trust me, the companies have done phenomenal. But what y'all are doing, though, it's just unique. I've never seen something done like it before. So, and that's, I had to reach out to y'all and, just talk to you guys. And I'm honestly, I'm glad we were able to work something out and be able to feature them on my page and stuff. Cause I love sharing them with everybody. I mean, and of course you see more pages pop up and they're like,
oh yeah,
they're ordering them left and right. And I'm like, oh, I love it.
The funny thing, which I love, when people order from the website, I mean, yeah, they order more Scoobies than Shaggy, but they most definitely order them in pairs. So I love, it's like kind of like the Goonies. We have 4 Goonies and they always order them together. And our most popular Goonies character is Mama Fratelli, which I love. It's just so fun. So yeah, I love one of the nice things having our social media kick in now, because we already were in Walmart, right? But having our social media kick in and being able to talk to you guys directly has been fantastic. I'm getting way more ideas. It gets me way more energized. I mean, and we just hired full-time Michael, who you've talked about, Cam, as our social media and fan engagement manager, and he's going to do a bunch of Comic-Cons, and he's a pop culture nut. He's been collecting Funko for 10 years, and so I'm really happy to have him on board. And he's fun, and yeah, I'm super excited to have another freak on the team.
I love it. Well, hey, if y'all don't mind, I got a couple questions for y'all, if that's okay with you guys. Okay, right on. So my first question for you is, what made y'all start off with designing the Scooby-Doo franchise? Like, I mean, I know there's 10 million franchises out there, but what made y'all, is it just because y'all been Scooby-Doo fans? Is that why y'all wanted to start with that one?
Well, Warner Brothers, who we have the license with, we have honestly 186 properties from them. So there's a large range of things we can do. But that was one of the immediate ones I was like, we have to do Scooby-Doo. Partially because I'm a huge fan. partially because I knew that I really had the gut instinct they would sell well. So we started with, okay, the two, you know, the pair, right? And yeah, it just, and Warner Brothers was super happy to see us grab that and roll forward with it. One thing you don't know is my original design for Scooby-Doo anything, I was doing an advent calendar for Walmart, but we never launched it, and it's super cute. And that's kind of where we started designing all those micro figures for. It was 12 days, was it 12 days of Christmas? And then I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's where we initially did a bunch of the designs. And then we're like, oh, we need to do full size of these too. So, but yeah, it's because we love it. I mean, number one, but two, we know that it'll do well, so we can keep going with it. One of the interesting things about, so I owned my own consumer products company for 10 years, and that's where we came up with the Handmade by Robots, you know, design. And then I had been in talks to go return to my old company and bring a lot of the assets and the products with it and some of the people. And then the pandemic happened, but we still did a modified deal where I sold them the Handmade by Robots trademark. I came back on board, and they've been a great engine behind me. You know, it's as much fun as it is to own your company most of the time. It's nice to have a company that's just, you know, got deep pockets. I can go out and get the Warner Brothers license. I can, you know, ramp up production and just, you know, get some people that I need, but we're still our own little division. I mean, obviously I'm still, I ship all the orders, you know, so, and, you know, we're a tight little team, but I have their backing, which is super nice. So and that's allowed me to, you know, stay on the highway of selling lots of stuff, you know, lots of big box, lots of, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas, whatever. And then I'm able to go into these little off ramps of amazing products like Scooby-Doo and all that.
Yeah, with our little department being so small, it's been nice too as an artist, because Mary will share with me like that list of 120 something licenses and go, hey, which ones are you most excited about?
Exactly.
And, you know, immediately I was like, well, we got to do Scooby-Doo. We got to do, you know, there was like several others, like we'd be stupid not to do this. This will be so much fun. I think there was just a dozen or so that I gravitated towards, but Scooby-Doo was definitely at the, if not at the top of that list, then very close to it, just because I knew how much fun it would be to design the characters.
That's true. He did. Was like, I want to do these. I said, okay, we'll do it.
That's awesome.
Do you think you'll ever do the advent calendar?
I would like to, yeah, I have, but it's such an investment because of all the mold fees for 12 figures and all that.
Right.
And it's kind of a seasonal item. So I have to make sure I have sales in place. So I am working, I almost had it all sold to GameStop, and then they got all screwed up. So yeah, I think next year I'll do it for sure. It's super cute. I also have a Willy Wonka calendar in the works as well. So we'll see what happens, but yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I know a lot of people that would buy the Scooby-Doo one. So
Okay,
you'll
good.
have them all sold. That's not a problem.
Okay,
Those
good.
of us that collect Scooby stuff, we all have issues. Like we have rooms of Scooby stuff. So yeah.
I have a question for you guys. So what is the available of Scooby merchandise out there? Do you see a lot of new stuff being made? Is it mostly apparel? What do you see out there?
There is a lot of apparel, a lot of different shirts that are made. I don't think there's a lot of like really good figures that are being made, you know, and I think that an advent calendar, especially, I don't know if there's ever been like a real advent calendar for Scooby-Doo, but that's something that, you know, and people would buy two of them because they'd want one that they don't open and one that they do open.
Right.
You know, that's you know, that's what we do. We keep one in the box and we buy a second to take it out.
Okay. So yeah, I made a note of that. So far I've made a note, send my address to Cam so he can send me a cool hat. Two, I'm going to check out episode 13 because I think there'd be really fun to do one of those voodoo dolls, Cam, as a figure. I've got Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Dawn, and not to be mentioned Scrappy, but
well,
I've got
Scooby-D. It's Scooby-D, Scooby-Dum, and Scrappy. Yeah. Scooby-D, Scooby-Dum, and Scrappy.
One of the cool things about this book, it had the family tree. I didn't realize that Scooby had so many relatives, but now I do.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's great feedback. So anyway, sorry, back to your questions, Cam.
Oh, no, trust me. Well, and I gotta say too, and I mean, me and Nikki and Wendy, we see it all the time, but it's very refreshing to see companies like y'all that actually interact with the community. Because, you know,
Yes.
when as us collectors, when we try to reach out to companies and say, hey, look, we love your product, and they don't even message us back, like, you know, it just puts a sour taste in our mouth. We're like, you
Yeah.
know, we're giving you our money, you know, we're supporting you guys, you know, can you just, you know, talk to us and we can give you your feedback. So for you guys to be on here today, it's an honor. And for y'all to actually talk to us, I mean, it's really refreshing. I mean, wouldn't y'all agree, Wendy, Nikki, wouldn't y'all agree with that? It is
Very
super
much.
refreshing.
Well,
Yeah.
and for us, though.
Yeah, same for us. I mean, we're happy to be here and to talk about the stuff, our products, because we love them. I mean, we're obsessed with them too. And, you know, Justin and I and the rest of the team, we're pop culture freaks. So, you know, I was going to show you, this is my, where is it? So when I was a kid, my jam was Star Trek, the original series. Oh my God. So that and Dark Shadows. But so my sister and I had a Spock doll, and we had a Polaroid camera. This is like when I was 8. And we would set up little scenes all around the house and take photos and use the Polaroid. Well, I had one left. It's hard to see probably with the glare, but here is Spock on top of the dryer downstairs with a black sheet on it and with all the lights out. And then we've shined flashlights on it. And those, yeah, little rocks from the garden. So yeah, I've been a complete nut job since then. So there you go.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so I got one more question for y'all, because y'all are great. Y'all already answered the other two, so that's perfect. My big thing is though, when I was thinking about it the other day, to what to ask y'all, when designing the figures, what do y'all think is the hardest thing about designing the Scooby-Doo franchise figures?
I'm going to leave that up to Justin.
There's a lot of figures that are not regular body types, if that makes sense. We have a very definite, almost template for our characters that make them look a certain way. They have to fit in the box a certain way. So, you know, one of the main characters is Scooby, and he right away, you know, you don't want to design him like you would any other figure. You want him to look like a dog. So reworking that so that it actually works, so that it looks good and it still looks knit. But then you get a character like the 10,000 volt ghost, who is in essence, a two-dimensional character, because what is he, like a kind of an orange, but he's got like this yellow glow around him, which is flat, but you can't design a figure with like so finding a way to represent that in a way that's true to the character, and that a fan would go, oh, you know what, this is the 10,000 volt ghost, is challenging. But just because it's challenging doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. I enjoy the challenge of it. It's fun. You know, before I do my roughs, even sometimes I'll just sit and just loose sketch and see, hey, what's going to work? You know, let's mess around with it. That's part of the fun for me.
Make sure you guys
Awesome.
check out Justin's art site too, imsonmonsters.com, because his art is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome, for sure.
I was looking at your Instagram page, and yeah, it's incredible. Like, and then of course I noticed the wall behind you when you first came on.
Yeah, I've been painting for years, obviously, but I just mostly paint monsters and robots and stuff like that. But then again, also sometimes I'll integrate pop culture stuff that I love as well. So, though I've never done a Scooby-Doo painting. I know,
What?
right?
Guess you'll have to do one now. I have some empty space if you want to come and paint some Scooby on my wall.
There you go.
Oh, goodness. Well, hey, those are all my questions. Thank you guys very much. I love talking to y'all. And Wendy, take it away. It's your turn.
Well, I definitely wanted to say, Justin, the way that you managed to, like what you were just talking about being difficult, taking this character that is very recognizable and translating it into the style of your figures. I cannot even imagine the brain power required to make that work. That is very impressive, because so far you've definitely nailed it. Getting to see the Space Kook designs, you nailed it. There's
thank you.
nothing
I appreciate
there's
that.
nothing that could have been done better. I wouldn't have even, like, when you started talking about it, I was trying to imagine how you would translate, because even like the space kook, because he's not even just like regular human shape, because he's bigger on the top and like he has this very unique look, but you nailed it. That's very, very impressive, and I can't wait for that one to come out for sure.
I can't wait for it either, actually.
So you've both said that you were Scooby fans, you know, not just now, but you have been fans. So I would like to know what is your favorite Scooby-Doo episode and your absolute favorite villain?
Well, I think my favorite villain, so I love the villains. I'm a total freak for the villains. So I feel like my favorite episode is probably tied to my favorite villain. And I really don't know why, because he's not that unique looking, but I don't even know the name of the episode, but it was the miner, like, remember, okay, I think part of the reason this episode's so fun to me is because my mom did this on a trip we took to California. She turned the map upside down, and she did not hear the end of it for like 20 years. So so it's the episode where Shaggy got the map upside down, and they ended up in the old ghost mining town, and it was the miner 49er guy, but it was really the innkeeper assistant or whatever. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
But I think that one is my favorite, just because I love, and that was like one of the earlier, I think, episodes, but it was the one that made the most impression on me. Like, oh my God, I get it. He's a villain, but it's somebody else. This is amazing. So I think that was the one that sticks with me the most.
Yeah.
Okay. I loved Scooby-Doo growing up, but I mentioned it possibly before we started recording, but I have a connection to the Mystery Incorporated series of mostly, I think, because that's when my kids were growing up. We watched it together. We just loved the story arcs, and so the Shrieking Madness with H.P. Hatecraft. I loved that episode so much with what was it, Chargar Gothicon or something, the beast that hath no name. I loved the tongue-in-cheek H.P. Lovecraft, all the references to that. And that being said too, I enjoy Supernatural, and so when Scooby Natural came out in season 13, that one-shot episode, fantastic, especially with some very un-Scooby-like gore and stuff that was happening. I was like, oh man, this is gold. This is so good. Yeah. So
that was a really good episode, and I really would love to see them turn that into a series, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
Be Natural, yeah.
I'd
love to do a figure from that, from Scooby Natural, if we had the CW license too, or is it CW still? Supernatural. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
it would be hilarious.
How much contact do you guys have with WB directly? Do they ever reach out to you and have you guys do promotions, or what is that like?
WB doesn't like us very much. We don't know why. They don't ever do anything with our posts. They don't comment on anything. If we contact them, they ignore us. So yeah, we have no contact with WB.
Okay, so let's say that licensing is not even a thing.
Okay.
Dream figure to make any property, any character from anything ever. You can do whatever you want. Each of you, what is your dream figure?
Justin, you go first, and then I'll tell you.
I've got a few. Honestly, if we weren't already doing Scooby, like I said, being able to work on the villains for that specifically, just because I, like Mary, am very, I guess, villain centric on the Scooby-Doo franchise. But if I could do anything else, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my all-time favorite. One of my favorite jams, I guess. I would do that. And then also I'm a huge Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki fan. So anything, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, any of those, I would just jump on that and be super, super happy to be working on it.
My answer is going to date me, but that's okay. I would do, this is embarrassing, not really embarrassing. I would do a Steve Austin from $6 Million Man and a bionic Bigfoot, and his arm would come off like in the show. So those are my two. And again, I talk about being on the highway of products. That's definitely an off ramp I would be taking, but I would totally do that. And I love it. In fact, with my old company, we had the $6 million man license, and Mike Cap and I tried to sell a vast number of $6 million man items and never got one place. We had a Steve Austin in his tracksuit salt shaker with the bionic Bigfoot pepper shaker. And I mean, we came up with socks that looked like you had bionics legs. I mean, nobody bought a thing, but I'm going to make those. It's going to happen.
Steve Austin? Is that like WWE?
No, no, it's $6 Million Man.
It's $1 Million Man.
I'm going to get that license just so you have to watch it, Justin.
No, I have like vague memory.
It's Colonel Steve Austin to you. Thank you. Hey, now I'm going back. I'm going into product development mode, you guys. So you have to help me. So Scooby-Dee, Scooby-Dum, and Scrappy. What do you think about a little 3-pack of micros for those? Or how would you want those?
You would do the 3-pack, do Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Dee, and Scooby-Dum. Those 3 together would be amazing.
All right. And okay, I might do that. But we got to get Scrappy in there for the Scrappy fans. So what do you think? How should we do Scrappy?
Scooby-Doo and Scrappy together, because they're uncle and nephew. That might be cute.
Yeah.
Or Yabadoo.
Oh,
Deputy Dusty Scrappy.
yes.
That
has never been done before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would, and that's pretty original.
Yeah.
Yabadoo, Deputy Dusty, and Scrappy together. That would be an amazing 3-pack.
Okay. I'm thinking with the Scooby and the Scrappy, since they're different sizes, it'd be fun to do the Scooby and the Scrappy package together.
That would be amazing.
I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Another characters that are super popular in the franchise is the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. So I just want to let you know, Vincent Van Gogh and Flim Flam are seriously, they are very popular in the community. I'm just giving y'all, I'm here.
All right,
I'm just throwing tokens out.
Wait, no, so 13 Ghosts of Scooby.
We were talking about Vincent Van Gogh right before Mary and I were here this morning. Yeah.
So
Or even
Vincent Van
too, if y'all
Gogh-
did like a little chest of demons, that would have been cool.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So so you said Vincent Van Gogh, and what was the other one?
No, don't
Flim
mention the other one. That's fine. We don't have to add it.
No, we do.
my
We need it. Like
God.
Flim Flam is loved because we hate him. But there's not. I don't think there's ever been
Wait,
Flim.
Flim Flam? He's like the Dolores Umbridge of Scooby-Doo, or what?
I don't have him here. He's our moderator when things get a little out of hand on the
Yeah,
panel.
Nikki has like a little stick puppet for him.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who that is.
Yeah, he's
He
in
was
13.
basically this young kid that traveled around with Scooby all around the world to capture the 13 Ghosts, and he was like a little dealer. Like he would always try to make somebody a deal or sell somebody something, and he would always work with scrap.
He was a clever street child. So there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chest of demons would be amazing too.
Yeah.
I
that'd
saw
be
that in
so
the book.
cool.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I love that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've just decided on 10 new figures. I love it. Hey, if they keep selling, I can keep making them. So it's all good. I'm excited.
Nice.
So I'd like to add one question. How did you come up with the name Handmade by Robots?
Well, we were trying to figure out I think we figured out the form factor first. We figured out, so Mike Cap, who was my VP of sales, who now is one of my sales reps with another company, but he sells my products. So I still talk to him multiple times today. He's actually Justin's best friend. Is that a stretch that he's your best friend?
He's
Justin?
one of my best friends. I have like 2
Yeah.
best friends, and he's one of them. Yeah.
So they've known each other 20, 30, I don't even know how long. But he used to work for Funko. And he was at Funko when Pops exploded. So he's got a really good idea for what works and what doesn't. So we were doing this series of vinyls for the Destiny video game, and they're called Ghosts, and they appear in the game in different form factors. Like the Generalist is the most popular one, and there's like 20 other versions. And we started doing those Ghost figures in all the different variations, and they sold incredibly well, hundreds of thousands of units, Target, Walmart, whatever. And it got us thinking, and we made so many other cool products, but it was like reinventing the wheel every time. So, and so people were collecting them, and they were collecting the whole series. So, we thought, why don't we come up with something that's collectible, and we do a whole line of them, and people will want to pick them all up. So we came up with all sorts of ideas and ran them by Mike, and every single one, no, hate it, don't like it, won't sell, hate it. We're like, God. So because we knit, or some of us knit, we came up with this form factor, developed what Stay Puft would look like, because we had the Sony Ghostbusters license then. And the second we showed it to him, and we were all thinking he was going to hate it because he hated everything. God bless him. He was like, that is it. That's it. That's what we need to do. I love it. That will sell. It looks great. It looks floppy. It's interesting. And that's how it started. And then the name Handmade by Robots was, we know we're going to make this hand knit thing in a factory, and it's going to be made of vinyl. So we kind of came up with a story about, what if the robots tried to make you a gift? How would they do it? Well, they'd use factories and machines and plastics, so that's the little story on the side. You see, what they're trying to do. They know that humans like to make gifts for each other, and this is our approximation of it. We're actually developing further now the character, the robots. On the bottom of the characters, you'll see an inspected by stamp, and it's inspected by robot 283362. That is my mom's birth year, my dad's birth year, and my birth year. So now you know how old I am.
And the combination to her safe.
It is the safe that I don't have. So Justin has come up with what that robot character looks like, because we're trying to develop it further and have more fun with it. So it's top secret now, but he's super cute. And so, yeah, we're developing kind of who those robots are behind the scenes as well. So that's how handmade, because knitting is handmade by robots in the factory.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, today it's very, very rare to see something unique. And from the name to the look of it to how you're doing it, you guys are awesome. It's very, very unique, and we love what you're doing, and are very excited to see where you're going to go from here.
Oh, I love it. We appreciate that, you guys. I think we kind of hit a sweet spot, and it's rare you do that, where you find something that people just are immediately attracted to and just think is super cute, nostalgic. And, part of the big reason is because Justin is an amazing artist, and he's figured out the form factor, and he does a great job. We've tried to find other artists to help, and Justin is just so damn good that nobody's come close. But we do now have 2 new artists that are working under Justin, that both have tons and tons of experience in all sorts of drawing toys and
they're great. We just kind of found them pretty recently.
Yeah.
Though I've known them for years and years.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys are great, and they'll be a great addition because they get it. So
yeah, and they've done some test figures, and they're phenomenal. So I feel like once now Justin cannot stay up 24 hours a day drawing these things for me. He might get some help.
I have a couple other questions. One, will you ever do custom figures for people, or would that not be cost effective?
It isn't. Well, there's 2 ways that we can do a custom one. We can do a 3D printed version and hand painted at the factory, but that's super expensive, right? Because we still have to do the 3D drawing, which is like $700. And the actual tooling, there's $3,000-$4,000 worth of tooling and spray mask. So, but to develop a character, if you took in Justin's art, the box art, everything, it's probably $5,000 to get a figure developed. So yeah, if somebody wants a one-off, they need to be paying a lot. And then yeah, I don't see us doing anything like that.
So it's more reasonable to do a custom paint release where we're doing, what's the minimum quantity on that? Do you remember, Mary?
It depends on the reach. I mean, the factory, we have such good relationships with the 3, Disney approved factories we use. So I'm able to do smaller runs for some things. If it's a repaint or like the Ghostface series, we've done every color of the mask that they have approved and people love them. So we're able to do, just take it and make the figure glow in the dark or whatever. So that's easier to do. But if somebody wants to start from scratch and make a new mold, it's quite the process.
Yeah.
Sorry, my last question is for Justin. How did you get started as an artist, and how did you get into working with Handmade by Robots?
Yeah, I years ago, I was a graphic designer. I worked at a magazine, nothing particularly cool, but it was a great learning experience for me. And I enjoy layout and design and all that. And I was just drawing for fun. I started showing my work around. I met my friend Mike Cap that we've mentioned on this. He was working at Funko at the time, and Funko had like maybe 16 to 20 employees, I think is all. And I did some work for them, just freelance turnarounds of some Looney Tunes, started on some Simpsons, and then they switched that over to full 3D. And then I just, my own art got seen and became popular, and I was able to quit my job. And I've been, I guess, showing my work at galleries and at shows for the last probably 12 years, 15, maybe 15 years, I guess. And then when the pandemic hit and I was like, oh, I guess we're not doing galleries and shows anymore, I sort of lost my job, but I don't have a boss to tell me, you know, hey, sorry, you don't have a job anymore. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do something else. I was still doing a lot of e-commerce. My fans are super supportive. They were like, hey, they're placing orders just because they know that I'm not doing shows. They're just buying stuff to give to their friends and stuff. It was very, very cool people. But then I got a call out of the blue from Mary, and she's like, hey.
And we've known each other, what, 10 years?
Yeah, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
I had previously done some work with Mary. I used to go on Tuesdays and just hang out at the Coop at their work, and we started designing this really stupid toy line where I would just make up really stupid crap, and we would design it like they were all like pun-based toy lines. And I don't know that we ever made any of it, but I just had the best time. It's like we were just playing. But then this all happened, and then Mary just called me up, and she's like, "Hey, so I brought Handmade by Robots back over to BDA. Would you want to head this up? Would you want to draw it?" And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything else right now. I might as well. But I've always enjoyed toy design because I have done it off and on for about 15 years. I've done some sofubi, some soft Japanese vinyl toys with a friend of mine who was living over in Japan, and done a bunch of turnarounds for him as well as my own toys. Designed a bunch of plush with Mary while she was still over at the Coop. So making toys, when I was little, my dream was to either become an animator or to be a toy maker. And then I quickly realized I didn't like drawing anything more than once ever. So animator was out, but toy design, it's just kind of worked out that was my dream job. And now, I get to do it. And honestly, I don't even do it full time. I give Mary a lot of my time, but I still make sure there's enough time for me to do my own painting and a little bit of traveling and doing shows. And now that's starting up again.
Well, your work is incredible, and everybody should check out your Instagram page, and because it's amazing. You do some awesome work. It's
fun. I love doing it. To be honest, I'm actually not very good at anything else. So it works out. Yeah.
I just have one small question for you guys. Okay, so I know y'all are doing the figures, which we all love, but are y'all ever going to do like an apparel line for Handmade by Robots or any like other like cool fun stuff? You know what I mean?
We are going to be starting a fan club that you can sign up for on the website, and you get some swag that way.
Okay.
And I probably shouldn't say more about that, or Michael will kill me. But that should be really fun. We'll have some actual Handmade by Robot stuff there. But yeah, I think, and because we want people to identify with our brand, but that's not, it's all about the figures, not about the merch, so to speak. So we'll probably have some cool things on there, but nothing too much. I was going to say before we finish, I was going to say as a special treat, I will show you something that has never been seen before, but I'll let you guys decide which one. Okay. So
Okay.
you could look at the Creeper. You could look at Snow Ghost. You could look at Redbeard. You could look at Ghost Diver. You could look at Ghost Clown. You could look at Charlie the Funland Robot. You could look at Black Knight. Or 10,000 Volt Ghost. I haven't got approved yet, so I'm not going to let you see that one. But which of those? You three decide which one you want to see.
All right. I mean, if I had to choose, I would go Black Knight.
Okay.
I vote for Charlie the Haunted Robot.
Okay.
I say Charlie too. You caught me at Charlie.
So this one,
Charlie was such a weird figure to design because there's really not a whole lot to him. But he's one of my favorite characters too at the same time.
So he got snagged up the minute. So I was on a call with my sales reps when you sent over, Justin, you sent over the Ghost Clown. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yep.
The Charlie the Funland Robot and Captain Cutler, which is the Ghost Diver, right? And I showed the team. My GameStop rep took screen grabs, and within 2 minutes, he had a 2-pack exclusive commitment from GameStop. So, which is cool, GameStop supporting the brand. So here is Charlie the Funland Robot for you guys to look at.
Oh, he looks great.
He looks fantastic.
Wow.
Oh
yeah,
my god,
he's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
like I said, there's not.
Such a good job.
He's a pretty simple figure, but it's amazing how much time you spend just sketching. Like, how do I simplify this in the right way and stuff. The Yeti was actually really challenging in that way because there really isn't a lot to him.
Ooh, he's going to be translucent with glow in the dark eyes. I feel like we should show that one too. I just want to show them all.
He was fun because I focused on just making him as dumpy as possible because he doesn't have a lot of details. The Yeti, I was like, man, I'm going to give him a little bit of like rolls and just make it kind of.
All right, it's true. I'm going to let you guys have one more. What do you think?
He's going to be translucent, so I had to keep him still pretty simple. But I wanted to give him, well, like you'll see, he's got a lot of nice.
We're gonna show Snow Ghost. I can't help myself. So it's a translucent figure. It's completely translucent, which I can show you a sample of what it looks like if I could reach that far.
We're doing glow eyes, right, on him?
We're doing glow eyes, and then the mouth will be painted. So anyway, first I'm gonna show you this. So this is the translucent. So this is a translucent. So I had the factory when I was testing these out. I said, just take whatever you're producing and just get me some translucent samples and with the paint. So this is the back of Scar with the actual hair mask painted. So it's super cool, super translucent. Okay, so imagine that. And then we're going to show you this. I'm sure I'm going to get a call from Warner Brothers. Why are you showing that? They made me.
They're going to get a call saying, why are you showing those three?
Right?
Oh wow!
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can see I tried to give him. I gave him some nice rolls there.
Yep.
I tried to just make him kind of chubby and fun. So he's just so dang huggable there.
Yes, yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, I love the eyebrows. You know what I mean? You just the facial features, perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah, it really is.
You can tell that you guys are Scooby fans because you really put a lot of heart into these. Like, these look amazing. They are the figure, they are the characters that we know. Like, you've captured them perfectly. So it's obvious that you guys are Scooby fans.
We are, but I got to give all the credit again to Justin. He's an amazing. I can draw one thing: a cat that's smoking. I mean, it's kind of a big joke because I can't draw anything. So, yeah.
So I think that's all the questions we have. Justin, did you still want to do the draw?
I think we should. Do we have time, Justin? What is your schedule? You have
I have time if you want. We had talked about if you guys wanted, I could do a quick rough of a just whichever bad guy either you guys want, or I can come up with one.
Yeah, you guys decide.
Nikki,
Totally.
since me and Wendy picked Charlie the Haunted Robot, you get to pick this one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
going Black Knight because he's my favorite.
Oh, he's already drawn. Pick one that's not drawn.
One that's not drawn.
Well, you wouldn't know it's not drawn, would you?
Unless I
Let me think.
Let's see here. There's
How about Vincent Van Gogh? I hate to bring him up, but
Oh yeah, he would be great. He'd be
That'd be
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
let me find the link here so I can join us with my iPad here. And then why don't you guys answer, Mary, why don't you answer a couple questions, and I'll just share my thing here. Let's see.
yeah, Justin says when he's drawing, he's not as good at answering questions. And obviously,
brain
the only
turns
thing
off.
I'm good at is talking. So you guys, if you have any more questions.
One question, unfortunately, this is for you, Justin. About how long does it take you to draw the characters?
I spend probably 5 to 7 hours doing one from start to finish, but that can really vary just depending on, again, how well I know the character. If I have to spend an hour, 2 hours watching a thing and then researching the character and really getting to know it, I don't like to do stuff if I don't understand the character, because then I can't really represent it properly.
Okay.
So, oh, here we go.
Mary, I've got a question for you
Yes.
real quick. Okay, so I love Scooby-Doo, and I mean, all three of us love Scooby-Doo so much, but I am a big Hanna-Barbera nut as well. So
Oh.
I know you're doing Scooby-Doo, but do you guys plan to do like Johnny Quest, Speed Buggy, Yogi Bear? Do y'all plan to jump in anything like that?
So some of the Looney Tune or the Hanna-Barbera stuff is it's in the vault, or it's archived. So I don't have, I have those licenses, but I'm not able to do any figures for them. But I do have Flintstones. I've got Jetsons. I've got, in fact, I just printed out, you're gonna laugh. I just printed out my Scooby-Doo or my licensing contract to see what else I had. So I've got Flintstones, Jetsons, Tom and Jerry, Wacky Races.
Did you get Johnny Quest?
I don't have Johnny Quest. That was one of my favorite shows.
Oh, I love Johnny Quest.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah. I'm gonna ask her about that
I'm
again.
sorry, I shouldn't have just asked you like that. Like, do you like
No,
Johnny Quest?
I love it. I love Johnny Quest. I've been trying to get Johnny Quest. Let's see. This is my master list of Warner Brothers properties, so we'll see if it's on here. So Justin, what are
Oh
you
my
doing over
God.
there?
So I kind of, before I do a real rough, I almost do like a pre-rough where I just try to get a feel for what the character looks like, his expressions, and then I'll take this and I'll turn it into see what I'm talking about. I can't even speak while I'm doing the thing, but
So Cameron, here is the only Hanna-Barbera, and I have them all from that are available to actually do 3D characters of. It's Scooby-Doo Core, Scoob
Okay.
2020, which I'm not even sure what that is, Tom and Jerry Core, Flintstones Core, Jetsons, Thundercats, and Wacky Races. Those are the only Hanna-Barbera. And then of course I have Looney Tunes Core. So I have all the Looney Tunes stuff as well.
I hear you. And I will say real quick, you said Scoob. Scoob is the 2020 movie that came out for Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
So they're probably talking about that. Just letting you know. But yeah, no, I mean, even if you can't do Johnny Quest in those, I mean, still, I mean, it's pretty cool that you guys get so many properties. That's neat.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is an interesting, but each licensor does it differently. But Warner Brothers, they were like, look, we like these so much, we're going to give you everything we can. So they gave me basically every property they could. Now I've recently gone back and added Peacemaker, the TV show, because one of our retailers wants to do Peacemaker and then his little buddy Eagly. So I had to get the license for the TV show because Eagly's in the TV show. I'm picking up Ted Lasso. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I think that show's so amazing. Anyway,
It's a good show.
You guys are all just watching Justin draw, I think, as I.
Amazing. It's amazing.
It is, yeah.
It already looks like him.
Yeah.
So
And that's one,
Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
one of the
gosh.
interesting thing about our figures is just with a few lines and the eyebrows and all and the mouth, he makes it look like the real person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
yeah.
It's so cool how he split it in half and then just duplicated it and put it together. I mean, whoa, that's pretty stinking cool.
Well, and then if I want, I could do something more with his hand, but this would be considered like my pre-rough, and then I would take that and I guess drop the here. I would drop the opacity. Come on, of that, and then that lets me go over the top of this and then clean that up and get it looking how I actually want it to look. Which once I finish my roughs, I'll take my actual pen tool and do a nice job. But I like to spend a little bit of time on the roughs, just getting it just exactly like I want it.
And a lot of times, you know, if it's a character we're not sure about, he'll shoot me and Andrea, my project manager, this image and say, what do you think? And we'll, you know, I would say 99 times out of 100, we're like, oh my God, we love it. You know, or we might go, hey, put his hand up in the air or whatever. So, you know, Justin, you know, these roughs help us all kind of decide where we're headed.
Yep.
And we have standardized eyes that we use. So, you know, that all the figures look the same. That was a learning experience, the eyes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know,
But
a lot of oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you.
Oh no, wait, we both started at the same time. I was just you guys get the idea though. This is pretty much that's pretty much what I do as far as I go with the roughs usually. So
Oh,
Looks
man.
amazing.
It looks
Yeah.
so good.
Even in its rough form.
Now, Mary, would you guys ever consider doing something in the pup named Scooby-Doo realm? There's not a lot of collectibles for a pup named
Please.
Scooby-Doo, and there are some very cool looking villains, as well as obviously the gang is children who look quite different from our typical gang. But I know Cameron would also love a pup named Scooby-Doo merch. So
Let me see if I have that.
Mary, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm probably gonna have to sell my kidneys if you're gonna keep on doing Scooby-Doo to keep affording all these figures because they're so good. They're so good.
Don't sell your kidneys. I'll get you a gift certificate. I don't think I have that part of the license. I'd have to do a deep dive into. So the interesting thing about one of the good things about the Warner Brothers site with all the art is if I don't have access, if I don't have that on my contract and I go look up something, it'll tell me, hey, you don't have access to that. Instead of, because you know we have so many, instead of going down the rabbit hole, we're gonna make this figure and then we can't find the art, and 3 days later, oh yeah, can't make that. We've actually drawn a few figures that we weren't supposed to make.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely
It's
does.
difficult to get the license. Like if you say you would want to do a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Warner Brothers are probably pretty easy because they're really excited about all the stuff we're doing that's more not so mainstream, including even though Scooby-Doo to me is considered mainstream, they're just most of their licensees are, you know, all over DC Comics and some of that stuff. So which, you know, we do a lot of too, but yeah, they're always looking to expand, especially the people who are the managers of those specific brands. They're excited to expand, you know, their property, which is the Scooby-Doo property.
Right.
But yeah, everything's got to have a license. Everything's got to be signed on the dotted line. All that good stuff. Look how good he looks. That's amazing.
He looks amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
Now, can he have a smoking cat with him, Justin? Do you think you could put my famous smoking cat next to him?
You really want your smoking cat on there? I don't know. That's your specialty, Mary.
Yeah, that is my specialty. But one of the toy fairs, Justin came to toy fair with us with our old company many times, and he would try to teach me to draw, and it never went well.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with, I guess, what's going on with the eyebrows. I'd probably end up playing with it quite a bit more because he looks a little weird right there right now. But you get the idea. That's pretty much the playing part for me.
Wow.
So there you
That was really
That
cool.
was incredible.
Thank you for
Thank
doing
you very
that.
much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I like drawing, so.
I like drawing too. I'm not great at it, but I try.
It's fun. It's, that is one thing that working so much with the toy design has allowed me to remember just drawing for fun, because I have been doing it so long where it's like, I draw something or I paint something and someone buys it. And so lately it's been, now I do this and I'm sort of just painting for fun right now. You can see behind me, I painted on my doors there. I started a new painting over on the wall over here. Yeah,
that's cool.
I've just kind of been playing around. So yeah.
Great. It looks amazing. You're very, very talented for sure.
Thank you.
I am so lucky to have him in my corner.
Does anybody else have any questions or anything else you guys want to say?
No, thanks for having us on. I mean, we have as much fun talking about our stuff as you guys like talking about Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're really happy with the fan adoption of the line, and just like I said, talking to fans directly has been such a treat, and we'll never stop doing it. They can't take my phone away from me.
We do really appreciate you guys giving us your time.
You bet.
Like Cameron said, it's not all the time that companies are willing to actually talk to us. So, knowing that you guys are is just amazing. And we thank you so much for being here, answering our questions and doing the live draw, showing us some of the figures that are coming out. So thank you guys so much.
You bet. And if you want us back, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Before we totally end this, do you guys want to let us know where everybody can find you on social media? Justin?
Yeah, I'm Imps and Monsters is my, art name. It's Imps, IMPS, and fully spelled out AND Monsters on Instagram. It's also my website, impsandmonsters.com. Facebook, which honestly I don't really log in very often, but it's Imps and Monsters page instead of Imps and Monsters, and that's pretty much it.
Great.
We are at Handmade By Robots. So a little Handmade by Robots abbreviation. So Handmade, the letter B, Robots. On Instagram and a lot of the other social medias. Like I said, I really only get onto Instagram, and I have Michael, my new guy, handle Twitter and Facebook. And then our site where you can buy directly is hmbr.fans. And we're going to be adding a lot of content to that, including the fan page, a list of all the series numbers so you can collect them all, and some other fun stuff as well.
Wendy?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Wendy Bridge, Twitter at Wendy Loves Jesus, and my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com.
Cameron?
You guys can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Scooby and Cam.
And you can find all my links on ScoobyAddicts.com. Thank you all so much for joining us, and be sure to check out the Handmade by Robots figures.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A very special thank you to Handmade by Robots artist Justin Hillgrove, Handmade by Robots creator Mary Olson, artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy Bridge, and Cameron Bates from Scooby-Doo and Cameron Too. Scooby and Shaggy were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms, or as a web series on YouTube. If you would like to support the Scooby Panel, please go to support.scoobbyaddicts.com. Scooby Addicts art by Will Davenport, video editing by Nikki Blake, music composed and performed by Bovine Nightmares.